What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Stocks to Watch. And today the markets were again weak. We actually had a very choppy day because we were range bound throughout the day. But stocks still had some momentum, and there were a bunch of stocks from our watch list yesterday which did really well. So let's quickly get started. And just before we get started, if you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel and hit the like button if you like the content towards the end. So let's get started first with what the markets did today. And let me just remove everything to get like a clearer idea. So I'll just go to the hourly chart for Bank Nifty. And over here, what we see is we are again coming back over here to these areas of demand. I told you that shorting won't be easy, yesterday. So we were having our expectations right from here that the market's going to get sold off. And the markets did actually get sold off. Now, there were a bunch of reasons why Bank Nifty and Nifty both fell. Now, earnings from Canara Bank were disappointing. So PSU banks, which were initially doing well, kind of reversed their gains. Apart from that, IT was also not able to kind of pick up the way everyone anticipated, and then Reliance and all the other heavyweights were again still muted. So again, from the index front, nothing very interesting. But I'll just go to the 8th May watch list just to show you what happened to the mid-cap names that we had discussed. So number one was Capri Global Limited, up 10%. Maha Steel, again, closed very strongly. Gillette, TCI, all of them were on our radar. And Balakrishna is something that we even took a trade today. That's a disclaimer. So if you are planning to enter Balakrishna, please do your own due diligence. Apart from that, Bajaj Holdings, Maneuver also had a good high. I think our traders even captured Maneuver's move over here. They captured this move, but then again, we took our profits over here. Oil India and BSoft, again, everyone doing decent job on the whole. So again, not a lot of activity with respect to the mainstream names and even mid-cap names. Only some of them kind of did really well. I'll go to the Nifty 50 index, and we have had this discussion multiple times that we're going to basically come and fill this little gap over here. We do this, and now I think we're just trying to hover around this area of demand. Now, what is my expectation from Nifty now? I think we are yet to test this area of demand. So I think this is definitely doable, but before doing it, it has to take liquidity. And that could probably be done from this area. So my new POI for Nifty is going to be this area. We come over here, there is supply, we could probably play something. Now, let's come to the watch list for tomorrow, which is again a bunch of interesting names. So let's quickly get started. So number one is Suratwala Bus Group, trading at all-time highs. I think this is a fresh all-time high for the stock. After the split, the stock has been doing really well, volumes drying up. So I think this is pretty good, with respect to the price action. Next up is Nippon, right? So India, Nippon, Elect. So I think this is an OEM name coming near this area of demand, which looks pretty good. Again, not one of my favorite names to play because I think OEMs are still yet to kind of outperform. But I think the reaction over here is pretty much interesting. Next up is Nectar Life Sciences, which is from the pharma space. And again, I would love to see if this range gets taken out. Again, not something that is immediately ready to move, but I think there's going to be some strong action over here as well. Next up, we've got Hero MotoCorp. Now, why Hero MotoCorp is because it has made this nice, tiny little base. We've seen what Bajaj Auto has done. We've seen other auto two-wheeler names kind of deliver good performance. So I think I have good expectations from this. Next up, we've got Asal, which again, automotive stamping, which has to take out these highs to kind of move higher. Not something which is on my favorite list. TD Power Systems, a stock which has been something that a lot of people wanted to chase. Now the stock is basically at an important area of demand. So I think there could be some good activity over here as well. Next up is got Genus Paper Boards, and this is another very good name. So after making this base, we even spotted the stock while it was creating this base, moving higher. Again, not very crystal clear as we would want to see, but still decent enough. ICICI General Insurance, again, setting up for like a nice base break. But again, I'm not really very excited about this because of these wicks, so I'll just kind of ignore it for the time being. Next up is Tata Communications, which is currently trading at important areas of demand over here. So I think this action over here could be leading to a good momentum in the stock. There is lots of void to be filled. So it's an interesting name to watch out for. Cummins India, purely from an intraday perspective, nice tight little action. I'll just add, the VWAP over here. And I think, everything is, looking pretty decent at the moment, right? So I think this is good. Next up, we'll go to, Sundram Fasteners. And this is also another name which is setting up pretty decently like this. So I think this is also good action, happening in Sundram Fasteners. I think this could also be moving. Now, the only concern is it has earnings tomorrow, so we have to be a little careful about this. Next up, we've got Fortis. Again, I think there is lots of liquidity to be taken above this high. It's going to be interesting to see on how it moves. For me, it's not yet ready, but I think it's going to be interesting to see on how it plays out. Next up is LT, which is a construction leader, and now it is basically tapping from an important area of demand. Stock had earnings today, which were okayish, not very great, but it was still decent. So I think there could be some action reacting from this demand, probably from an intraday perspective, could be a good name. Now, FMCG has been moving, all the last week. We've seen Marico, we've seen Godrej Consumer Products, we've seen Britannia. So now Tata Consumer Products has been a laggard, and I think it has made a decent base, which it could probably take out and start moving. Again, nothing very clean in the entire watch list. These are all stocks that we're going to be watching because obviously the market's falling, so we don't really get these clear names. Next up is Glenmark Life Sciences. That also looks really great. Next up is Arman Financial. I think we've had a discussion about this stock earlier as well. Very nice little tightening contraction. I like it. Balakrishna Industries, I'm already in this stock, so that's a disclaimer. I am already having a long position. Please do your own due diligence. I think this can start moving higher. GSPL is an interesting name. So after that big gap down and the stock correcting almost 30%, from its highs, it comes back to this area of demand from where it starts reacting. We've got earnings, today, which were decent. They also announced dividends. I think there could be some activity, and we can easily see that there is a gap fill opportunity which could take place. I think that's going to be an interesting one, right? So again, a low risk, high risk reward kind of a trade. We'll see how it works. Life Insurance Corporation of India coming to an important area of demand. Let's see how the insurance companies play out. Not my favorite name, but I think it's still interesting. Bajaj Holdings and Investments, it was there on our watch list yesterday as well. Nice little base. Relaxo is the other one. Again, not able to break out of this range. We'll see how it moves. Then we've got Oil India, again contracting still. Then we've got B-Box, which is black box, again trading at important areas of demand. Not my favorite name. I'll actually remove this from the list. Jupiter Lifeline Hospitals setting up decently nice contraction. Let's see how this one moves. India Glycol, again, similar action, comes back to an area of demand. I think it is probably going to come down a little deeper, and then maybe it has some action. And then Future Lifestyle, I don't know why is this stock over here. I think by mistake. So all in all, from this list, I think Cummins makes sense to me. Apart from that, I think Hero does make sense to me. Apart from that, I think Surat Baswala Corporation, this also makes sense. Balakrishna looks good, and GSPL looks good. Again, neither of them is like an A+ biggie setup. So I think I will still focus more on intraday plays rather than trying to carry something overnight. That's my view, and that's the watch list that I'm going to be watching out for tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be a day of trying to take up intraday, maybe close existing positions, and try to at least shift yourself to at least 80-85% cash. Because if you look at Nifty on the daily time frame, things don't look that great, right? So I'll just remove everything. And now what you see is Nifty definitely has a lot of room to kind of come play with these areas of liquidity. So I think even the structure that we currently see over here is looking more like a faulty base, which could probably come back down, take demand from here, and then eventually make a new high. So if that has to happen, I think we might be testing these areas, which was somewhere around 21,000. And I feel this is very likely to happen in case if Nifty starts falling. So I think there could be a 5 to 6% correction over here if I talk about mid-cap Nifty, which could be even more brutal. So today mid-caps did a little bounce back, but I think for mid-cap Nifty, larger range demand areas stay over here, which means mid-cap index in the next month or two would have a potential to fall by 6-7%. That means mid-caps could fall 10-15%. So as of now, things aren't looking that bullish. So I think my perspective remains this, and I hope you loved the video. If you like the content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and drop a comment if you like my analysis. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you in the next one.